Hello, everyone, and welcome into Week 1, Game number 2, featuring the Strikeouts taking on the Base Bandits. We saw game number 1 happen the other day between the Clean Cleats and Broad Street Bats, and that was an instant classic, so make sure you go check out game number 1 from Week 1 up on the channel there, but let's get into the starting lineups first for the visiting Strikeouts. Leading off, playing first base, Michael Toglia. Up next, batting second, the catcher, Yadier Molina. Batting third, playing third, Donovan Solano. Batting fourth in the cleanup spot, playing first base, Bryce Harper. Batting fifth, playing shortstop, Cal Ripken Jr. Playing center field and batting sixth, Mike Trout. Batting seventh, playing left field, Colton Cowser. Your DH for today, batting eighth, Brian De La Cruz. And batting ninth, playing second, Al Newman. That is your lineup for the Strikeouts. Let's go on over to the home team, the Base Bandits. Leading off, your DH for the day, Alan Wiggins. Playing right field, Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn. Playing second and batting third, Ian Kinsler. Your cleanup hitter, playing third, Jose Ramirez. Playing center field, batting fifth, Ichiro Suzuki. In left field, batting sixth, Carl Crawford. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, Mark McLemore. Behind the plate today, Kurt Casale. And playing first base for the Base Bandits, Champ Summers. Let's go on over to the starting pitchers for the day. For the Strikeouts, you have Tarik Skubal, big left-hander on the mound, 6 command against right-handers and switch hitters. We'll have that +1 against lefties for a base of 7 command. Lovely 18 outs on his chart, slew of icons. Great defense on the mound. And we'll go 6 innings unless he hits that quality appearance. On the other side, for the Base Bandits, they got a big pitcher in Cliff Lee. A 6 command against lefties, and against switch hitters and right-handed batters, he will have a 8 command. 17 outs, goes 8 innings, so he could go for the complete game if he gets that quality appearance and doesn't allow 4 runs or 4 walks for the 5th inning. With that being said, let's get on over to the field. All right. Taking the mound today for the Base Bandits is Cliff Lee. The first batter for the day for the Strikeouts will be Michael Toglia. This will be a 8 versus 12 matchup. And we're just about to get underway. The pitch from Cliff Lee is a 15. That's going to definitely beat out the 12 of Michael Toglia. Toglia's swing, a 4, and that's going to be a strikeout. And Cliff Lee will sit down, the first batter of the day. 1 out, nobody on. A 8 versus 13 on the matchup. The pitch, advantage Cliff Lee. Yadier's swing is a 5, and that's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop for the second out of the game. Next up, the third baseman, Donovan Solano. This will be an 8 versus 14. The pitch from Cliff Lee. Definitely Cliff Lee's advantage. Solano's going to take a swing, and a 10 will be a ground ball, and Cliff Lee sets down the strikeouts lineup 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first. Bottom of the first inning here, Tarik Skubal takes the mound, and he will be facing the leadoff man in Alan Wiggins. This will be a 6 versus 13 on the matchup. The pitch from Skubal is a 15, good enough for the advantage. Wiggins will take a swing, and a 14 will be a line drive. So 1 out for Skubal as Wiggins goes back to the dugout. Next up, playing right field, is Tony Gwynn. This will be a 7 versus 13. The pitch from Skubal is a 9. His advantage. The swing from Gwynn is a 7, and that's going to be a ground ball for the second out of the inning. Ian Kinsler up next, the second baseman, 6 versus 12. The pitch, 9, so that's a 15, good enough for the advantage. The swing from Kinsler, a 15, and that is a fly ball. And just like that, both pitchers go 1, 2, 3, and we head to the top of the second inning. This game looks to be a pitcher's duel, so 1 run may be good enough to win the game for either side. The question is who will that run come from? We head to the top of the second inning, and first up for the strikeouts is first baseman Bryce Harper. This will be a 6 versus 12 matchup. The pitch from Cliff Lee, 11, good enough. And the swing is a 20 from Harper, and that's going to be a single as Harper gets a pitcher's chart single to lead off the second inning. Now, with both pitchers being so dominant, one would wonder how often either side may bunt someone over. We're going to take a stab at it here. Cal Ripken up next. This will be an 8 versus 12. The pitch from Cliff Lee will be advantage Lee. A 5, and that's going to be a ground ball. Harper is going to be out at second base. And the infield defense for the base Bandits is a 12. So this will be a 12 versus 17. 12 versus 20 on the throw. 12 plus 14 is going to be a double play, and that's going to be 2 outs for the base Bandits. Good turn there by Kinsler and McLemore to get the double play. 2 outs for Mike Trout. This will be an 8 versus 11. We'll say the strikeouts lineup is a little bit more heavy against right-handed pitching. So their matchup against Cliff Lee is going to be a bit of an uphill battle today. Advantage Lee. Trout's swing is a 12. That will be a line drive to end the inning. The strikeouts do get a single from Bryce Harper, but the double play from Ripken Jr. limits any potential damage that could have been done there. Bottom of the second inning. Jose Ramirez, the third baseman, comes up to the plate facing Skubal. This will be a 6 versus 12 on the matchup. A 15 total for Skubal there, and Ramirez's swing is a 19, and that is a single. pitcher start single. So both teams in the second inning get a leadoff pitcher start single for their team. Ramirez can swipe some bases here. 25 on his steal rating versus the battery of 14. That +3 from Skubal on the defense is pretty solid there. Ichiro is going to come up to the plate. He's not going to try to attempt to steal second Ramirez with Ichiro's speed. This is a 7 versus 13. The pitch, 17 total. The swing from Ichiro is a 19. Back-to-back singles on the pitcher's chart. And the base Bandits have 2 on with nobody out. The left fielder, Carl Crawford, comes up to bat, and he's going to attempt to bunt Ramirez and Ichiro because the 7 versus 10 is not a favorable matchup here. So we need a 13 or higher. We get at least 2 attempts. First one is a 7, no good. Second one is a 10, no good. Will Crawford try his third and final attempt here to bunt the men over? And he's going to let it rip. And he gets a 15, good enough for a sacrifice bunt. So that will be 1 out. But runners will be on second and third. Crawford gets the job done there as Mark McLemore steps up to the plate. Runners on second and third, 1 out. The infield and outfield are going to move in here for the strikeouts. 6 versus 11 on the matchup. The pitch from Skubal here. 16, he gets the advantage. McLemore swing. An 8. That is a ground ball. And the offense can choose to try to send Ramirez home. It would be an 11 versus 20, which is not great odds, less than 50-50. Or they can take the out at first. And man, what does the offense do here? You know, they're gonna let McLemore get thrown out at first here for the second out. And they're gonna hope that Kurt Casale, coming up to the plate, can get the job done. 2 outs, Ichiro on second, Ramirez on third. 6 versus 12 on the matchup. The pitch from Skubal, he does get the advantage. Casale's swing is a 1, and he strikes out with runners in scoring position to end the inning for the base Bandits. They might be questioning the manager's decision to not send Ramirez home, but with less than 50-50 odds, didn't look too favorable. We go to the top of the third inning. The score is 0-0. 3 total hits in the game, 2 left on base for the base Bandits. And Cliff Lee trots back out to the mound facing the 7, 8, 9 hitters of the Strikeouts. 6 versus 10 on the matchup here. Cliff Lee's pitch is a 6. Cowser's swing on Lee's chart's a 13. That is a fly ball for the first out of the inning. Brian De La Cruz coming up next. He is the DH for the Strikeouts today. This will be an 8 versus 11 matchup. The pitch from Cliff Lee is a 4, and he just beats out De La Cruz's 11 with his own 12 total roll. So De La Cruz will swing on Lee's chart. 3 is a strikeout for the second out. Al Newman up to bat, the 9-hole hitter and second baseman for the Strikeouts, is an 8 versus 10. And another 4 is rolled, so 2 back-to-back low rolls by Cliff Lee, but with that nasty 8 command, doesn't matter against these batters towards the end of the lineup. Newman puts the ball in play, but it's going to be caught by the right fielder. And the strikeouts go 1, 2, 3 in the third inning. Bottom of the third, first baseman and 9-hole hitter Champ Summers comes up to bat. He's going to face Skubal. 7 versus 11 on the matchup. That is a 9 plus 7, 16, so that's good enough for Skubal. The swing from Summers is a 20, and that is the third pitcher's chart single for the Base Bandits. They have not gotten a single advantage so far this game. Actually, nobody has, but they've gotten 3 pitcher's chart hits off the 18 outs of Tarik Skubal. That's going to bring up the top of the Base Bandits order. Alan Wiggins. Wiggins is the DH for the day. This will be a 6 versus 13. The pitch from Skubal. 17. Wiggins, the swing. A 12 is a ground ball. The strikeouts get 1 out. They have an infield of 11. 11 versus 24 on the infield throw for the double play. 11 plus 14 is 25, and they get the double play. A double play for the strikeouts. Great turn there by Al Newman and Cal Ripken to get the double play. Defense has shown up today for both sides. So with 2 outs, nobody on. A 7 versus 13 as Tony Gwynn comes up to the plate. A 20 from Skubal as that double play got him fired up. And a 16 is a fly ball to the right fielder. And that will end the third inning as we head to the top of the fourth. Score is still 0-0. Top of the lineup here for the strikeouts. Their second time through the lineup. See if they can get any type of advantage here against the mighty Cliff Lee. They only have 1 hit so far on the day, and that came in the second inning from a pitcher chart single from Bryce Harper. 8 versus 12 here. The pitch from Cliff Lee, an 11, so that is a 19 total. The swing from Toglia is going to be a 5, and that is a ground ball to the shortstop for the first out of the inning. Molina comes up next, the Gold Glover catcher. 8 versus 13. The pitch from Lee is a 9, so that's a 17 versus 13. The swing, a 9, and that'll be another ground ball, this time to the third baseman for the second out of the top of the fourth. Donovan Solano comes up. This is a 8 versus 14. The pitch, 21 total. Swing from Solano. 13, a line drive straight to the second baseman will end the top of the fourth inning, and Cliff Lee sets down the strikeouts lineup. 1, 2, 3. The Aces are just completely dominating the game so far for both teams. Skubal comes out for the bottom of the fourth inning. He is going to be facing the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Base Bandits. The windup and the pitch on a 6 versus 12. An 8, so it's a 14. Kinsler's swing. A 13, and that is a line drive straight at the shortstop for the first out. Jose Ramirez coming up to the plate. He's 1 for 1 on the day. A pitcher's chart single in the second inning. A 6 versus 12. And the pitch. A 3, and we're going to see our first advantage of the day as Ramirez is going to get an opportunity. The swing on Ramirez's chart, an 18, good enough for a double. And just like that, there is a runner in scoring position for the Base Bandits. That is Ramirez's second hit of the day. Outfield's going to move in here, a 7 versus 13 on the matchup. The pitch from Skubal, a 4, and he surrenders his second advantage in back-to-back batters. Ichiro is going to swing on his chart a 7, which is a walk. So that'll be the first walk issued by Skubal. And with Carl Crawford coming up to bat and 1 out, the manager for the Base Bandits is going to run it back, and he's going to try to sacrifice bunt with Crawford needing a 13 or higher. And a 17 nails the bunt on the first attempt, moves Ichiro to second and Jose to third. There are 2 outs, but with runners on second and third again, McLemore comes up with the opportunity to knock in some base runners. The infield will be normal for the strikeouts, but their outfield will stay in with Ichiro's dangerous speed. 6 versus 11 for Skubal. He's got to lock in here for the strikeouts. The pitch, a 17, and McLemore is going to need a 19 or 20 here if he wants to move the base runners, and an 8 is going to be a ground ball, and that will end the inning. And the Base Bandits leave 2 on again and cannot capitalize on their advantages. Top of the 5th inning, the score is still 0-0, but I will say that it seems like the Base Bandits have had more opportunities. They've had 4 hits to the strikeouts 1, and they've left 4 men on base. Cliff Lee has faced the minimum of 3 batters in each inning so far. Let's see if he can keep that going against Bryce Harper, who is 1 for 1 on the day. Got that pitcher start single back in the 2nd inning. 6 versus 12. The pitch from Lee is a 3, and that will be an advantage for Bryce Harper. The swing for Harper is a 17. That will be a double. So a leadoff double for the strikeouts. Harper gets his second hit of the day. He's 2 for 2. The outfield for the Base Bandits will move in. This will be an 8 versus 12. The pitch from Lee, 18. Ripken's swing on Lee's chart, a 17. A ball going back to the left field wall and caught at the warning track for the first out. 1 out now. Cliff Lee facing Mike Trout, a 8 versus 11, so he'd have to roll a 3 or lower for Trout to get an advantage. The pitch from Cliff Lee, 10. Trout's swing is 3, and he will strike out. Wow. Nails from Cliff Lee there. Striking out a very powerful hitter in Mike Trout. That will be Cliff Lee's 3rd punch out of the day. And Colton Cowser will have a 6 versus 10 opportunity here to try to get the leadoff batter home. Outfield will stay in for the Base Bandits, 6 versus 10. The pitch from Cliff Lee, an 18. Cowser's swing is a 7. That will be a ground ball to end the inning. So even though Bryce Harper gets the leadoff double, similarly to the Base Bandits, they cannot capitalize with runners in scoring position. Cliff Lee will get the quality appearance as he did not give up 2 runs, and he will get an extra inning of work as he has just been terrorizing the Strikeouts lineup. He can now go 9 innings. Skubal comes back out in the bottom of the 5th to face the 8-9-1 hitters of the Base Bandits lineup. 6 versus 12 as Kirk Casale comes up to the plate. The pitch from Skubal, a massive 20. The swing from Casale is a 5. That is a strikeout, and Skubal picks up his second strikeout of the day. One away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Champ Summers coming up to bat. This is a 7 versus 11 matchup. The pitch, a 12, and the swing from Summers is an 18. That will be caught on the warning track as the right fielder hauls it in for out number 2. Great catch there from the right fielder Michael Toglia of the Strikeouts. 2 outs now, nobody on. 6 versus 13 as the leadoff man Alan Wiggins comes up to the plate. Skubal fires a fastball down the middle and gets a 20. Wiggins' swing is a 6, and that'll be another strikeout for Skubal, and he sets down the Base Bandits 1-2-3 as he picks up his 3rd strikeout. Skubal will also get the quality appearance, and that'll bump him up to the 7 innings worth of pitching that he can do. Cliff Lee coming onto the mound, facing off against the 8-9-1 hitters for the Strikeouts. This will be an 8 versus 11. DH of Brian De La Cruz, 7, enough for Lee to get the advantage. Brian De La Cruz takes a hack at it, and he lines out to the shortstop for the first out of the inning. Al Newman coming up to the plate. 8 versus 10. Definitely the advantage, Cliff Lee. Newman's swing, a 9. Newman hits the ball over to Mark McLemore, who scoops it up and throws him out in the nick of time at first base for the second out of the 6th inning. Eight versus 12 here for Michael Toglia. He is 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout and a ground out. The pitch from Lee, a 9. Toglia's swing, a 2, and he strikes out, his second strikeout of the day, and Cliff Lee's 4th strikeout for the Base Bandits. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The score still 0-0. Two, 3, and 4 hitters due up for the Base Bandits. Tony Gwynn comes up to the plate. He's grounded out and flied out today. 7 versus 13 on the matchup. The pitch from Skubal is a 4, and Gwynn's going to get an advantage here. The swing from Gwynn is a 14, and that will be a single. And the leadoff man for the Base Bandits is on. Again, that 14 battery for the Strikeouts is really hindering the Base Bandits' ability to steal here. Kinsler does have some good base running speed. So they're going to try to send Kinsler up with 1 on and nobody out. This would be a 6 versus 12. The pitch from Skubal is a 6, and that's going to be a tie, which goes to Kinsler. So back-to-back advantages given up by Skubal. The swing from Kinsler is a 6, and that'll be a walk. The second walk issued by Skubal. And there's going to be 2 on with nobody out for the cleanup hitter, Jose Ramirez. The outfield's going to come in for the strikeouts. 6 versus 12. Skubal needs to lock it in here. The pitch is a 5, and that'll be a third advantage in a row given up by Skubal. With the outfield in, Ramirez basically can only roll a 1 or a 2 on his chart for it to be an out. Let's see what Ramirez can do with the swing, and he rolls a 15. That will be a double. So 1 run will come in for the base Bandits. Wynn will round third and come home. He will score. And the outfield was in. The outfield defense for the strikeouts is an 11. But Kinsler is going to be waved home as a 25 versus 11 is still pretty good odds. But with nobody out, do they chance it? Another big decision here by the manager. They've already scored 1. But with how good Skubal's been and a bunch of lefties coming up, they're going to wave Kinsler home. So this will be an 11 versus 25. The throw from the outfield is going to be a 17 plus 11, a 28, and Kinsler is going to be out at the plate. So Ramirez will get 1 RBI out of that, but Kinsler is going to be thrown out going home. Some people may think that was a risky move, but with how locked in Skubal's been up until this point, one would think that 1 may be still enough to win the game. Still a man on second, 1 out. The outfield will stay in with Ichiro Suzuki coming up to the plate. He is 1 for 1 on the day, a single and a walk. 7 versus 13. The pitch from Skubal, an 11, enough for the advantage. The swing from Suzuki, a 14, and that will be a line out to the second baseman for the second out of the inning. Carl Crawford coming up. He's going to actually get the chance to swing this AB. 7 versus 10. The pitch from Skubal is a 2. Advantage Crawford. So the first time he's allowed to swing today, he's going to get the opportunity to maybe add some insurance. And he rolls an 18, which is a double on his chart. And that's going to bring in another run for the base Bandits. Jose Ramirez will come in to score, and Crawford goes to second. It is now a 2-0 ball game. And again, the question may be thrown back at the manager's face why they sent Kinsler, but they get the run back regardless, and it is 2-0 base Bandits. Skubal has faltered here a little bit. The outfield's going to stay in with the speed that's on the base paths. 6 versus 11. The pitch from Skubal, enough for the advantage. The swing from McLemore. A 15, a fly ball to the left fielder, Colton Cowser, and that will end the frame for the base Bandits, but not before the damage is done, as they take a 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Cliff Lee back out on the mound, going to be facing the 2-3-4 hitters in Molina, Solano, and Harper. Molina has grounded out twice today. 8 versus 13. The pitch from Lee, staying hot. The swing is a 15, and that will be a fly ball to Carl Crawford for the first out of the 7th. Solano up next. He is grounded out and hit a line drive, so he is 0 for 2 on the day. 8 versus 14. The pitch from Lee is a 2. Advantage Solano. Solano's swing is a 7. And that's a fly ball. Pop up to the shortstop as he gets out on his own chart. So a big opportunity potentially squandered for Solano, because Cliff Lee is not going to be giving up many advantages like that. That's only his second advantage allowed in the game. 6 versus 12. Harper is 2 for 2. The pitch, an 11. The swing from Harper is a 2, and he strikes out. Cliff Lee's 5th strikeout of the game. And the strikeouts go 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 7th inning. To the bottom of the 7th, Skubal's last inning of work to be done here. He will be facing Kirk Casale, Champ Summers, and Alan Wiggins, unless something unforeseen happens. Casale has struck out both times he's been up to the plate today. 6 versus 12. The pitch from Skubal is a 3. Casale will get the advantage. Casale's swing, a 10, and that will be a walk. The 3rd allowed by Skubal. Runner on first base. Champ Summers is going to come up to the plate, and they're going to ask him to sacrifice himself and try to bunt Casale over to second. Again, needing a 13 or higher and 2 or 3 attempts. First attempt is no good. The second attempt is not good either. They will try for a 3rd time, and he does not get it. He will strike out. So Skubal will get the K there, and that will be his 4th K. That'll bring up Alan Wiggins. He will not try to bunt Casale over, as he's got a little bit more speed and a little bit better odds to get the advantage. 6 versus 13. The pitch from Skubal is a 5. That will be an 11, and Alan Wiggins is going to get the advantage here. The swing from Wiggins is a 17, a single for Wiggins, and that will put 2 on with 1 out. And Tony Gwynn coming up to the plate. The base Bandits are going to think about pinch running for Casale here. And they will do so, bringing in Victor Scott to pinch run for Casale. Victor Scott's going to come in for Kirk Casale and pinch run. Victor with a 22 speed on the base paths. The outfield will move in here. This will be a 7 versus 13. See if Skubal can dance out of some damage here. He definitely will have the advantage here. The swing from Gwynn is a 10. That will be a ground ball. Scott will get to third safely. Wiggins is thrown out at second. And the infield defense for the strikeouts is an 11. Ripken tosses it over to second for Al Newman, and Al Newman's going to roll an 11 versus 24. A 21, and they cannot turn the double play as Gwynn will be safe on the fielder's choice. 2 outs, runners on the corners, with Kinsler coming up to the plate. It would be huge if Skubal could get this out and keep it a 2-run game. 6 versus 12. The pitch from Skubal will be a total of 16. Kinsler's swing is a 10. That will be a ground ball. over to the shortstop. They'll toss to second, get the out, and that will be the end of the 7th inning. We'll need some defensive substitutions here for the base Bandits. Victor Scott's going to not be catching. The base Bandits will be subbing in Ron Hasse as their catcher. Hasse has an 11 defense, very popular catcher for most clutch baseball teams, as his 10 points is very, very eye-catching. That will push Skubal from the game, and he'll exit with a stat line of 7 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs allowed, 4 strikeouts. Cliff Lee coming back out for the 8th inning, set to face Ripken Jr., Mike Trout, and Colton Cowser. 8 versus 12 here. The pitch from Cliff Lee is a 4. Tie will go to Ripken. Ripken's swing is a 19 for a double. And the strikeouts get the leadoff man over to over to second base. Huge for them. Only their 3rd hit of the day. The first for Ripken. Mike Trout comes up to the plate. He is 0 for 2. I struck out and lined out. 8 versus 11, so Lee would have to roll a 1, 2, or 3 for Trout to get any kind of advantage. And he does. He rolls the 2. The outfield did come in for Cal. Ripken. Trout's swing is a 5, and that will be a walk. The first walk for Cliff Lee. As Cowser comes up to the plate. And we think that he may try to bunt Ripken and Trout over. And he is going to. With a tight game like this, they're going to need all the help they can get. So sacrifice bunt is on. They need a 13 or higher, and Cowser's going to get it down on his first try. Moves Trout and Ripken over to second and third respectively. That will be the first out of the top of the 8th inning. And this will bring up the DH, Brian De La Cruz, who is 0 for 2, struck out and lined out. The infield will remain regular. The outfield will stay in for the base Bandits. 8 versus 11. Oh, and Lee is going to scrape by the skin of his teeth, getting the advantage by 1. The swing from De La Cruz is a 20. That's going to be a pitcher's chart single. That's going to bring Ripken in to score. Trout over to third. And they're going to wave Trout home with 1 out. 10 versus 25 on the throw. This is huge. The potential for a game-tying pitcher's chart single for 2 runs potentially. 10 versus 25 on the throw. 5 is not going to do it. And Brian De La Cruz comes in clutch and ties the game at 2-2. What a wild turn of events. Cliff Lee gives up 2 advantages. They pinch, or they sacrifice bunt. Both guys over, and we get a tie game. Al Newman comes up to the plate, and with an 8 versus 10, Newman's going to try to do what De La Cruz did, and he is going to try to sacrifice bunt himself, and he will get the bunt down. These guys are putting on a clinic with their sacrifice bunting. And there will be 2 outs. De La Cruz goes to second. And the strikeouts are going to go to their bench and pinch run for Brian De La Cruz to get a bit more speed on the pass. That's going to be Victor Scott coming in to run for De La Cruz. .22 base running for him. And with 2 outs, man on second, Michael Toglia comes up to bat. He struck out twice and grounded out 0 for 3. This will be an 8 versus 12. The pitch from Lee is an 18. He's locked it in. The swing is a 17. Toglia hits the ball deep to right field, but that's going to be caught at the warning track by Tony Gwynn. And that will end the frame. But holy smokes, Brian De La Cruz coming in clutch with the 2-run single off the pitcher's chart for the strikeouts. We head to the bottom of the 8th, and the strikeouts are going to need to go to their bullpen. And their bullpen options will be coming up here shortly. They will be facing Ramirez, Suzuki, and Crawford. So some lefty. They're looking for a lefty pitcher here. The bullpen options here are probably looking at Brian King or Chad Zerb, and I think the lefty of Brian King with 6 command and 17 outs is going to come in to face 4, 5, and 6 hitters of the base Bandits. So let's get that substitution in there. Brian King making his first appearance for the strikeout squad this year. 17 outs, a 1 through 6 strikeout range. Lefty, 6 command, a great back end of the chart with a 24 to 26 double range and a 27 plus home run range. This will be a 6 versus 12. And King will get the advantage. The swing from Ramirez is an 18, and he will get a pitcher's chart walk to lead off the inning. The battery for the strikeouts has come down from 14 to 12, so Ramirez is going to try to steal second base here. 12 versus 25. The throw from Molina is a 1, which is an error, and Ramirez is going to get all the way to third as Molina throws the ball past the second baseman and Al Newman. And Ramirez will get a stolen base. And the go-ahead run is on third base with nobody out. Off the error from the Gold Glover, Molina. Infield and outfield will be in. 6 versus 13 on the matchup. Big pitch from King there. As he beats it out by 1. The swing from Ichiro is a 1, and he will strike out for the first out of the inning. Crawford coming up to bat, 6 versus 10. The infield and outfield remain in. The pitch from King is a 21 total. The swing, a 14, and that is a fly ball to the right fielder, Michael Toglia. And with 2 outs now, a leadoff, or do they want to try to send him 11 versus 20? They're going to try. Crawford's fly ball to right field and Toglia. Ramirez is going to be sent home 11 versus 20 because the outfield was in. Not the best odds, but this is basically the go-ahead run to potentially win the game. 17 is a huge throw from Toglia, and Ramirez is going to be gunned at the plate. And that will be the 3rd out. Again, some questionable decisions possibly, but you never know with how these games can go. Who can have the opportunity to be the hero? We head to the top of the 9th inning as Cliff Lee comes on for his 9th inning of work. He will be facing the 2, 3, and 4 hitters of Molina, Solano, and Harper. Molina is 0 for 3 today. 8 versus 13. The pitch from Cliff Lee, who's got to be getting a little tired here, is an 8, so that will be a 16 against 13. The swing from Molina is a 3, and he strikes out 0 for 4 today, while Lee picks up his 6th punch-out through 9 innings. Solano comes up to the plate, 0 for 3 as well today. Grounded out on his own chart last time. This is an 8 versus 14 matchup. The pitch is a 3, advantage Solano. Solano's swing is a 5, and he will get out for the 2nd time on his chart as he grounds out to the shortstop for the 2nd out of the top of the 9th inning. 6 versus 12 here. Harper's 2 for 3 on the day. A single and a double. 6 versus 12, the pitch from Lee. Lee's advantage. The swing from Harper is a 17. Harper hits the ball to deep right field, and it will be caught by Gwynn. 1, 2, 3 go the strikeouts, and Cliff Lee, if need be, will be done for the game as he goes for 9 innings, allowing 4 hits, striking out 6, and giving up 2 runs. We head to the bottom of the 9th. The strikeouts are going to need to turn to their bullpen yet again. And with a switch hitter, lefty and lefty due up, they're going to turn to Chad Zerb, another lefty for them. To face McLemore, Hassey, and Summers. Zerb has a 5 command, 17 outs, big ground ball range, great defense, and +3. So hopefully that can keep the speed of the base Bandits at bay, which they've done a pretty good job of today so far. Bottom of the 9th, 5 versus 11. The pitch from Zerb is a 20, advantage Zerb. The swing from McLemore is a 3, and McLemore will ground out to the shortstop for the 1st out of the inning. Hassey coming up to the plate. They don't have another backup catcher, so he's going to have to stay in the game, even though the advantage is, or the matchup is 5 versus 8. The pitch, Zerb shows him who's boss with that huge roll. And Hassey, nervous from that roll, strikes out, looking like a fool for the 2nd out. That will bring up the 9-hole hitter, Champ Summers, to the plate. 5 versus 11. Down to the last hope, unless we go to extras. And Zerb throws a 2. Summers is going to get his first advantage of the day. The swing from Summers is a 4, which I know very well is a ground ball on his own chart. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to extras. Second game of the season, and we are going to extra innings. Bear with me as we switch some things around on the back end. The strikeouts are going to have to go, the base bandits are going to have to go to the bullpen to face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, who are definitely righty heavy, so they're going to be looking for a lefty pitcher here. So let's see who their options are. Looking like Hobie Milner or Adrian Morajan will probably be their best option. I believe they're probably going to go with Hobie Milner here to give them their best opportunity at getting to the bottom of the 10th with no damage done. Now in the Sandlot Baseball League, we will follow the Manfred runner rule and put a man on second base, which will be the last recorded out. So for the strikeouts, that will be Bryce Harper. Hobie Milner sporting that 6 command, 4 defense, 17 outs, doesn't give up any walks. So Milner will be on the bump here. 6 versus 12, runner is on second with no outs. And the outfield will be in for the base bandits. 6 versus 12 on the matchup. The pitch from Hobie. His advantage. The swing is a 9. That will be a ground ball. That will be the first out of the inning as Mike Trout comes up to the plate. 6 versus 11. The pitch from Milner. I have no idea what that is, so we're going to re-roll that. 13. Swing from Trout is a 13. That is a line drive to the shortstop. There are 2 outs now for Colton Cowser. 6 versus 10. Outfield will remain in. The pitch from Milner is an 8. His advantage, the swing from Cowser, a 5, and that's going to be a ground ball to end the inning. And Hobie Milner does his job, gets the strikeouts to go down 1, 2, 3. And we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. Strikeouts down to another bullpen arm. It's the top of the lineup for the base bandits. Better against the lefties, so bringing in a righty will probably be the best option, which would be either Fernando Rodney or Kevin Ginkel. So Kevin Ginkel is going to enter the game for the strikeouts. Ginkel has only a 4 command there, but +1 against righties, but 18 outs is what we're really looking for here for him. And the base bandits are going to be putting Champ Summers on second base as their Manfred runner, but they're looking at their pinch hitting options here, or pinch running options. And they have a swifter man that they can put on, and that man is going to be Doug Baker. Baker's going to come on in for Summers to be the runner. So let's make that change here. Ginkle is going to be facing Wiggins, Tony Gwynn, and Ian Kinsler. Outfield will be moved in. 4 versus 11. The pitch from Ginkle is an 8. He'll barely get the advantage. Wiggins will swing. That is an 8, a ground ball for the first out of the inning. 1 away. 4 versus 13. Outfield is going to remain in. The pitch from Ginkle, an 11-15. He'll barely again squeak out the advantage. The swing from Gwynn, a 6. Another ground ball. 2 outs now for Ian Kinsler. This will be a 5 versus 11. Ginkle's pitch is a 4, and Kinsler will get the advantage. The swing from Kinsler is a 10, which is a walk, and that's probably one of the last things he wanted. A single would have probably ended the game, or at least given them an opportunity to end the game. Jose Ramirez coming up to the plate. He is 3 for 3 with 2 doubles, a single, and a walk. 1 RBI. And with 2 outs, 4 versus 10. The pitch from Ginkle should be a big one. A 14. The swing from Ramirez is a 5, and that is a strikeout. And we're going to head to the 11th inning. Both teams are going to start running out of pitchers here. But Ginkle does his duty. And we go to the top of the 11th. The score still tied 2-2. Going to need to make some more substitutions here. And the Base Bandits are going to need to go to their bullpen. They'll be facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the strikeouts. The Base Bandits also will be switching around their defense. They're going to be putting Joey Meneses in at first base in replacement of Doug Baker. Thank you for your services. Colton Cowser is going to be the Manfred runner on second base. Hum-ba-dum-bum-bum. And the Base Bandits are going to turn to right-hander of Ryan Fernandez, boasting a 5 command, 17 outs. No extra defense, but facing the bottom part of the strikeouts lineup. He hopefully can get it done. So Cowser on second as the extra runner. The strikeouts would hopefully be sending up Victor Scott, but they will be pinch hitting and putting in Nicky Lopez. In the 8th spot. So instead of Victor Scott coming up to the plate, it's going to be the lefty Nicky Lopez. So it'll be a 5 versus 11 on the matchup here. 5 versus 11, and here we go. The pitch from Fernandez is 15. Outfield is in, by the way. The swing from Lopez is an 8, and that will be a ground ball for the first out. So, nothing great there. Newman, 5 versus 10. Newman is 0 for 3 on the day. The pitch from Fernandez, another 15. Newman's swing, 15. That's going to be a fly ball for the second out. Both these teams' pitching has just been astronomically good. Outside of really 2 innings where both teams were able to score 2 runs, 5 versus 10. 19. Taglia's swing is a 7 and another 1-2-3 inning for the base Bandits. And now the strikeouts are going to go back to their bullpen and turn to their last usable arm in Fernando Rodney. He has a 4 command, 16 outs, +1 against righties, -1 defense, which won't really matter with a runner on here. Jose Ramirez is going to be the Manfred runner. Rodney's going to be facing Ichiro, Carl Crawford, and then Mark McLemore, which is going to be a 13, 12, and 14 on the matchups. The pitch from Rodney here, 4 versus 13. Outfield is in, is a 20 total. The swing from Ichiro is a 17, and that is good enough for a walk. So 2 on with nobody out. As again, we have the Manfred runner there. For Carl Crawford, this will be a 4 versus 12, outfield in. 4 versus 12, the pitch from Rodney is a 15 total. Crawford's swing, an 18, a pitcher's chart single. That's going to move Ramirez to third, Ichiro to second, Crawford to first. And with bases loaded, nobody out, do the base Bandits send Ramirez home to try to win the game? It would be another 11 versus 20, but they're going to hold off. They're going to hold off and let Mark McLemore come to the plate, a 4 versus 14. Infield in, outfield in. Nobody out, bases loaded. The pitch from Rodney is a 2. If McLemore gets anything but a 1 or a 2, this will end the game. The swing from McLemore is a 19, a hitter's chart single, and a walk-off single to end the game. The final score will be 3-2 in favor of the Base Bandits. Wow, what an electric game we had on our hands. Holy smokes. What a game from those two squads. And if that's how the Sandlot Baseball League is going to continue to be played, we're going to have such an electric season. The winning pitcher is going to be Ryan Fernandez. Losing pitcher is going to be Fernando Rodney as he gives up the back-to-back pitcher start walk, the pitcher start single, gives up the advantage to end the game. Both these teams are going to be hurting in their next outing as they will be having a lot of their players fatigued. And we need a player of the game, which I think we're going to give to the man who had an unbelievable day at the plate for the Base Bandits, Jose Ramirez. Ramirez on the day was 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and the winning run scored. So he definitely earned player of the game. As we look at the final score, 3-2 Base Bandits against the Strikeouts. Again, the winning pitcher of Ryan Fernandez, Fernando Rodney. The losing pitcher, player of the game, Jose Ramirez. Cliff Lee deserves a shout out as well, as Cliff Lee definitely carried a lot of the weight for the Base Bandits. Again, Lee's line was 9 innings, only allowing 4 hits, and gave up 2 runs while striking out 6. He really just had that top of the 8th inning where it was back-to-back advantages, and that Brian De La Cruz pitcher start 2-run single, which was crazy. But thanks for joining in, and we'll see you guys next time to see the Shiny Squad take on the Bass Bros. So until then, we will see you later.